It's the Terry Sullivan Show. Today's guest, owner of Flourish Flowers here in Old Town Lewisville, Cynthia Dearnbarger. And now, the man who's like a third cousin twice removed to me, Terry Sullivan.
You don't mind if I just call you a moron, do you?
Well, that would be the kindest thing you said to me today.
So what do you do? You just kind of stay up at night thinking of insults for me? Is that what you do?
It's a hobby.
I bet that one came at like 3 this morning. This would be a good one.
It was more like 4 o'clock this morning. That's okay.
Thank you, Terry.
You bet.
Thank you, Terry.
You know, Cynthia, it's so good to have you.
Thank you.
So good to have you.
It's such an honor to be here.
Thank you. I look forward to it. You have such a bright, dynamic personality. I couldn't wait for you to come on the show, basically because I don't have to talk so much. I just turn you loose. You know, Jack is her husband. You know, Jack said, hey, just give her a line. She'll go 30 minutes on one line.
Well, you know, I have to say that's actually probably completely opposite. He's the talker. Talk.
He does. He is the talker. Yeah. Did you ever, when you were dating Jack, now you guys have been married for how long?
16 years in December.
So 16 years ago, 17, 18 years ago, when you were dating, did you ever say, you know what, that last name, Dearnbarger, that's pretty difficult. Maybe I need to find somebody like Smith.
It's a mouthful, I'll tell you that much. We have gotten everything from Baron Drinker to Dearbarger, Burger, you name it. It's a mouthful.
Well, it's unique. It's unique.
It is.
What is the tattoo on your arm there, Cynthia?
It is a picture. This one right here is my grandmother's glasses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're close to your grandmother.
Very close to her. She passed away in December of last year. Mm-hmm. She was 96 years old.
Oh.
And has just such an inspiration. We were talking earlier about memories, and there are days when I can go outside and I can smell my next door neighbors with a pot of beans on, and it brings me right back to her house.
Yeah. We were talking about that. We were talking about how smells bring back memories, and I was telling you the story. You know, in Old Town we have a peanut factory. I guess that's what it is,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And it's been here forever.
Right down the way.
Yeah. So when they're roasting peanuts and the wind is blowing just right, it automatically takes me to my mom's house during Christmas, because that's the only time during the year that she would roast peanuts to this day. Wow. So it's just great memories.
Yes.
So you got that tattooed in memory of your grandmother.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
You know, I did a show with Corey of
Living Canvas.
Canvas Tattoos, and I asked him what causes people to want to get a tattoo, and that was one of the reasons. He said to memorialize someone in the family or somebody like that. Absolutely. Or he said, you know, somebody you're dating. He said most of those people are drunk, and they come back and they go, what?
I'm going to need this covered.
Yeah, that didn't last long. Could you make the P a B? You know, I got another one like that.
Yes.
Cynthia, you own Flourish Flowers
sir.
and Gifts in Old Town Lewisville.
Yes.
Don't you love Old Town?
It's such a joy to be here.
Yeah.
We moved from Flower Mound, and I have just fallen in love more and more and more with Old Town. Yeah. There's just a local camaraderie that is just so amazing. The people here, they cheer for you. They want you to succeed. Yes. Just every part of it, we have absolutely adored here. So.
Yeah, and the city is part of that.
Yes.
You know, the city, I've worked with so many different cities on projects, mostly restaurants, but sometimes it can get very difficult.
Oh yeah, for
the
sure.
city of Louisville has been so heroic for me, in just pushing me forward and and just supporting.
Yeah, I love that.
I know, and I think they do that for all the businesses in
absolutely.
Old Town. Yeah,
I feel like, when there's something that comes up, there's just an openness to hear what's going on, to hear what you're trying to talk about, and I feel like for the most part, anytime we've had an issue or anything, we've just gone straight to them and just tried to talk about things, and obviously they want us to succeed, right? I mean,
right.
It's only the betterment for the whole entire community. So.
Yeah, it is. And of course, we have a huge revitalization program going on in Old Town right now. I know you got to be excited about that.
So thrilled.
As I am, because it's so many apartments going up, so many people coming in, and I think they're doing a magnificent job. Of course, they want to make this a walk around community where you live and you walk wherever you want to go.
Yes.
And I think they're doing a great job doing that. Thank you for bringing in this arrangement.
You're so welcome.
It's so beautiful. I hope you didn't just bring it for the show, because I'm keeping it.
Well, here's the deal.
Uh-oh.
It is for the show, but you are keeping it, okay? One of the girls at the shop made it for us. So that's the other thing that I love so much about Flourish is, the people that we hire and the people that we work with, they're family to us. And so Megan actually put this together for you.
Way to go, Megan.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. So what do we have here? Talk about the flowers.
Okay, so let's talk about the flowers. So with our specific flowers, we're a little bit different than most florists because we use unique vases. So you're not going to get your typical glass vase, right? Yeah. This is a vase that you can use afterwards for like a plant. You can use it for pencils, pens, different things like that.
Okay.
Also, the flowers are a little bit different as well. We try to put specialty flowers in all of our arrangements, so you're not getting the typical roses, carnations, that sort of thing, okay? So right here we have blue delphinium, which is really pretty. And I asked her to kind of make it a little masculine, because we were coming over here. And then we have some Gerber daisies right here, but these are ranunculus. They're beautiful. Very layered.
They look like roses.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. And then this right here is Tweedia.
Are they roses?
They are not. No, they're not even in the rose family.
Okay.
But they're gorgeous. And then we have some mums down here. We're kind of transitioning into the fall season.
Yeah.
So a lot of our flowers are starting to come in with like a orangey tint, yellows, that sort of thing.
What's your favorite season?
Oh, summer.
Summer.
Yeah, the blooms are just so bright and vibrant and beautiful. Although it's nice to see the colors changing as well.
Yeah.
So for us, fall, right now we're in that transition season, and it's beautiful just to kind of get a new feel, new vibe, new season.
New season. I've just always been interested and amazed at what the thought process that goes into putting an arrangement together. It's just not that easy.
It's not, and actually. That's one of the things that we like to make sure our customers know is that we're artists. I mean, this isn't just something that she flippantly put together. I said, here's a show that I'm doing. We like to talk about the people behind it, what it's for, whether it be a baby shower or, a death in the family, a celebration of life, something. So when we are putting this together, we're actually thinking about what we're doing.
So, obviously, when Megan was putting this together, she was thinking, that Terry Sullivan guy, he's a hunk. So I got to make it I'm just kidding about that. I'm just kidding about that. She's probably thinking, he's such a sissy. I got to put, I don't know.
No, not at all.
So let's go back to 2017.
Okay.
That's when you opened up Flourish.
Yes, sir.
Your daughter was 18 at the time, and your kids, you have 20 of them.
Four felt like 20.
and they were getting grown and going to leave home, and they didn't want you to get. They just knew that if you spent too much time with Jack, that was going to be a fiasco, So tell me the story how Flourish came about.
All right. So I would say my oldest daughter had gone away to college. She took a season off and came back home. And during that season, I think she kind of saw where I kind of started feeling, as a mom, like that, I that was the best job of my life. I loved every part of it. And she kind of started seeing a little bit in me that, I just felt like was missing. There was something inside of me that I was starting to, get a little sad, and I felt like my purpose was just, starting to dwindle. And she actually went out with some friends to Dallas one weekend, and she invited me back to Dallas, and she wouldn't tell me where she was going, but she took me down to this little tiny bitty flower shop in Lower Greenville. Mm-hmm. We walked in, and she looked at me, and she was looking up at me while she was talking, because there was these little stair steps, and she looked and she says, "Mom," she says, "we're all starting to leave. What are you going to do?" And I looked around, and she said, "This is something that you could do and you would be amazing at."
Wow.
And at that point, I was taken aback, one, that she even thought of, just presenting that to me. But I went home that afternoon, and I talked to Jack about it, and he just looked at me and he said, "Well, let's pray about it. Mm-hmm. Let's see what God does."
Yeah.
And from that day to the day that we opened, June 24th, 2017, it was 10 weeks. And we opened our first flower shop in Old Town.
Did you open up where you are right now?
No, we did not.
Okay.
So we were a couple doors down, and it was 650 square feet, little bitty tiny shop.
Yeah.
And we actually were there for 2 years, and we made the best of it. Jack and I, we had so much fun. We redid the floors, we redid the walls together. We did so much work together. We had so much of our community come in and help us with the original Flourish as well.
Right.
And it was so amazing to see the people that you love come in and help you do things like that. Mm-hmm. And from that point, I would say we were there for 2.5 years, and I'm not sure I'm sure you know the Mercantile, right?
Right.
They were down where we currently are.
Okay.
And at that point, we had seen that they were moving. They had put up on their social media pages that they were moving across the street. And secretly, I had kind of tucked in the back of my, my little brain there, "Oh, wow, wouldn't that be amazing to have a bigger space, to be able to do the arrangements in the front to where people could see you, designing, instead of going to this little back room." Mm-hmm. And I tucked it back there and just never thought we would have the opportunity to do that. Mm-hmm. It was just one of those things where I was like, that's just way too much, Mm-hmm. And then Jack had texted me like a couple days later, and he was like, "Hey," he's like, "Did you see the Merc is moving?" And I was like, "I did." And he said, "What do you think about that?" And I was like, "Yeah, right." Like that would ever happen, And I just kind of left it alone. And then I had another friend text me about it. And she said, "Hey," she said, "I really think you should look into this." Mm-hmm. She said, "I feel like it would be a great opportunity for you." And at the time, I just felt like, for me, it was a holy echo, like 1, and 2, and then 3. Sure. And so at that point, I brought it up to Jack, and I was like, I was afraid to say anything because I just felt like it was too much. At that point in time, we had only been in business for 2 years, and that massive, amount of a building, it just kind of, I immediately go to numbers. Mm-hmm. I'm such a, "Oh, well, this,
Yeah.
So I just thought there's no way that we could do it. Mm-hmm. And he said, "Let's reach out to Randy and Rhonda and just see what our options are. Mm-hmm. Maybe we can lease it, And from there, we reached out to them, and we actually were completely shocked. Mm-hmm. They came back to us, and they offered to do owner financing.
Oh.
So we were completely blown away, because at that point in time, the bank was asking for all of these credentials, and we had only been open for 2 years. I don't think that we were even going to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. And when they offered to do owner financing for us, we were just floored. And I mean, like, I just cried, because I thought, wow, there's people out there that believe in us, mm-hmm. and that want us to succeed,
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so at that point in time, we said yes, and we moved forward with it. And I guess about 6 months later, we were in that building. And last year, officially, we transitioned over to Jack and I purchasing the building under our
congratulations.
Thank you so much.
It's a beautiful space. I mean, you've done so much with it. I've been in it one time, and it's just really beautiful. It's very quaint. It's very inviting, you know.
Well, I always like to say this. One of our core values as Flourish and as a team is we want people to walk in and feel welcomed. Mm-hmm. We want them to feel loved, valued, and adored. Mm-hmm. Whether they're coming in to get flowers or they're just coming in to take a peek around. Mm-hmm. And there have been so many times where people walk around and they're just like, this is just so peaceful in here. Mm-hmm. Like they really were just on a walk and decided to walk through the shop, you know? So thank you for that.
And it is. But you know, some of that, Cynthia, you and Jack are dear Christian people and love the Lord. As a matter of fact, you were making arrangements for the women's ministry at your church before you ever started Flourish.
Yes.
Right?
That's how it all went down.
That's kind of the passion that happened. But you know, don't you think some of the calmness of the peace is just the Spirit of God that dwells within you guys?
Absolutely. Yeah. I totally believe that. Yeah.
Well, with you, Jack. I'm sorry, Jack.
He's really not.
He should have been here today.
He should have been here today.
He's probably on the night. Does he play golf?
He doesn't. He's terrible at it. Don't tell him I said that.
All right. So, what is your favorite flower?
My favorite flower, and it's not even in this arrangement. Wow. Okay. So it is called. They're actually little bitty tiny daisies. They're chamomile daisies, actually. Mm. So yellow center, teeny tiny white petals around the edges. And I think I love them so much because I feel like they're such a small flower that makes a big impact. So, for instance, if I put some in this arrangement, they're just going to add a pop of color to the arrangement. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why, I mean, most people love peonies, ranunculus, you know, the major big bloom flowers. And I love those too, but there's something that's so significant about something that's small that makes such a big impact.
I love the pinoculus. I don't even know what that is, but
I don't know
you give it all these terms. I'm thinking in my mind, what is she talking about? Just give me a rose. A rose will be just fine. Give me a daffodil. You know what, when you said, what are these again? Because those look like bluebonnets to me.
Well, yeah, they're the same color. This is, oh my goodness. You made me lose my train of thought. Belladonna.
It's beautiful. Whatever it is, it's beautiful. And I couldn't, you said it a while ago, and I said, well, I'm not going to repeat that one. I won't say it. So, Cynthia, when people, what's your favorite event to do?
Oh, my favorite event to do is something that someone would say, here's our budget, have fun, just create. Whatever it might be, whether that's a celebration of life, a baby shower, a wedding, as long as there's a creative freedom to design in a way that you just, like there's no photo you're looking at that you have to recreate. There's nothing that you're really having to do, you know, that's like, that you're having to replicate, I would say. Mm-hmm. So when somebody comes to us, we had a gentleman come to us for a birthday party and said, this is our budget. We just want you to create whatever comes to mind.
Right.
I think those are my favorite parts because we get to pull a color palette that we want. Mm-hmm. We get to play with flowers that we necessarily wouldn't normally, you know, play with. So I think those are probably our favorite at the shop is when we can genuinely create whatever we want to do with our own, you know, artistic ability.
What do you think when somebody asks you or calls in, orders an arrangement for a funeral, a service? I mean, it's such a huge difference between weddings and funerals. What do you think when, what kind of arrangement comes to your mind?
Well, first of all, anytime that happens, I mean, it's you know, it's hard. You know, people are losing loved ones, and so we always want to make sure that we're just addressing that first of all. But what we want to do is we want to honor the person. And so what comes to mind is, can you tell us a little bit about that person? Can you tell us what they loved? Did they have a favorite color? Is there a favorite flower that they loved? You know, that sort of thing. We just had a service a couple of weeks ago, and the daughter brought in a photo, and it was just a photo of a lily, and she said this was his favorite flower. Mm-hmm. So we made every effort to make sure that that flower was in the arrangement that, you know, that we created for them.
Are weddings hard to do?
They are. They are. They are.
Tell me the funniest story. I mean,
funniest
story that when you're arranging and then you're delivering and you're setting up.
Well, I would say so Jack and I first did, for the first year, it was Jack and I doing the weddings. So you can only imagine how funny that was. But then we had another friend that hopped on board with us that would help us because she had some experience in that. We genuinely had no experience in it. I mean, I am completely self-taught. I learned from YouTube, Google, you know, all of the different avenues. And so we were heading out for a wedding one morning, bright and early. And Jack's driving ahead of us. There's a car behind us, and we're all, you know, trucking out. And we're driving down 35. Ladder falls right out of the back of the truck. So needless to say, we go back, and the ladder's not even there. So I had to run over to Home Depot, pick up another ladder, and then head back out to the wedding that we were going to. So
what does Jack even do over there? I mean,
right now, he's actually, because we have such an amazing team, and we've built up our weddings and events team and our daily team, actually, Jack's doing a lot of training for, you know, running and, you know, all the things that he does.
We're having a real good time at his expense today, aren't we?
We are.
I'm enjoying it. I'm going to pay for it. You probably will too.
I will, and
but
you will.
Right now, it's pretty funny. So you have a room over there called the Succulent Room.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Okay, so our Succulent Bar is just a little bitty room between what we would call our showroom is the front room, Succulent Bar, and then we have an event space in the back. And the Succulent Bar is, it's basically like a DIY. You can come in at any point in time and build a succulent garden. We have all of the instructions up on the wall. We have all of the plants that are priced. We have all of the pots that are priced. So anyone can come in at any point in time and do something, create something. So when we came to the building, that little bar area was tucked in that area. And it was one of those things where I had wanted to do that in the smaller space, but we just didn't have the space for it. And so when we walked in there, I immediately knew, like I had a vision for it, I could see it, and it's the perfect spot for it. So yeah, anytime we're open, people are allowed to come in and create things in the Succulent Bar.
You know what I would do?
It's really fun. Yeah.
You know what my creation would be?
What would it be?
One flower right in the middle, and I'd say, that's beautiful.
That's the easiest way to go.
That's all I would do. I'm so non-creative. Your events room, what do you do with that?
So we teach our classes back there. We teach floral arranging classes. We do succulent gardens, stuff like that. But we also rent that space out. It's a great space. It is just a big open. It kind of has the same feel to, you know, the brick wall. Mm-hmm. A lot of woodsy, kind of rustic feel to it. But I would say for the most part, we've rented it out for baby showers, bridal showers, birthday parties, stuff like that. We actually had a small wedding back there as well. And so very intimate, very small. But it was really beautiful because I feel like we have gotten to see it transformed into so many different special occasions.
Has Jack told you how much he eats over here?
He does. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's every Friday. Am I correct?
At least.
At least.
Man likes his barbecue.
He does. He does.
In 2020, we're in COVID. Was it scary for you?
It was really scary.
Yeah. I guess it was for everybody.
Yeah, it was.
But nobody was doing anything. Right?
The world shut down.
Yeah. So what'd y'all do over there?
Well, we had to get creative. We were considered a non-essential business. So at the time, we weren't able to do anything floral related. And so at that point in time, we were really trying to start thinking, okay, how do we get our online presence, built? And at that point, what we started to do was start putting some of our gifts online. And then from there, we also started just promoting different ideas on our social media platforms, because it was in between like March, you had April, which was Easter. So we started doing Easter baskets. We'll create the Easter baskets, put them out on the front, and then you can come and pick them up, kind of thing. And so we just had to get creative, real creative with different avenues of what we were doing. Because again, the floral side of things was completely non-essential, which is really funny, because there was somewhere I had read along the lines where they were like, if you send your government a letter, they'll start considering what is essential.
Sure. And
for us, I mean, if you ever receive a flower arrangement, I feel like it just brings so much joy to you. It lifts your spirits,
sure.
And there are, at the time, we're in, our world where people are hurting.
Yes.
And so I went to play that card with as much as I could with our government, I would send in a weekly letter every single week. And it finally happened, I think it was the week before Mother's Day, that we were able to reopen and be considered an essential business.
But you're so right. Flowers do amazing things for you psychologically.
Yes, absolutely.
No matter what phase of life you're going through, for men and women.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just it just makes life more beautiful.
It does, absolutely.
Do you make the most money during Valentine's?
Mother's Day and Valentine's. Yes, sir. So I always say this, Valentine's Day, people, I would say mostly men, will spend any amount of money on anything, right?
We have to.
You do. You really do. And then Mother's Day, everybody has a mama, right? Even if it's a spiritual mama, an auntie, whatever the case might be, there is some sort of woman in your life that you want to love on for that weekend. And so I would say Valentine's Day is, probably our most profitable, and then Mother's Day is right behind that. So,
Cynthia, it's so great having you. When people come in here and that we do a show, time passes so quickly, and we're out of time. But I want to thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
You and Jack and Flourish are such assets to Old Town, to the whole city of Lewisville, but specifically for Old Town. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you.
Such good people, and we appreciate you. We love you, and I appreciate you being on the show.
Absolutely. It's such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Terry, take us, please.